Kanye visits Donald and the fallout. Nintendo makes The Legend of Zelda more accessible. Melania's bullied statement. A scary time, and in a Patreon exclusive, how to evade taxes the Jared Kushner way. Hey, I have a lot to complain about, so let's do this.
The recently canceled podcast with Don Fry.
Hey, how goes it? So, this week's just been full of bullshit everywhere. I'm so sorry that I'm again a bit late getting this out for you guys, but Kanye went to the White House and he wanted to talk to Donald Trump, and somehow Jim Brown got in the crossfire here. Jim Brown's sitting off to Kanye's left, and he's just sitting there, possibly didn't know where he was. And then Kanye goes on some 10-minute soliloquy where he was doing a decent job. He's making these like broad stances and metaphors that would work well in rhyme, and it would get applause there. That is, if it fit the agenda the media wanted, which it doesn't. But everybody was like talking about him being crazy. That's the response afterwards. And the odd thing about this is he was doing fine until he went about saying that he needs to free people who are in prison now because in another dimension they are him, and so he has to free himself. It's like he got confused by Jet Li's The One. It was freaking weird from any point of view. Now, there is a good thing to take away from this for Donald Trump, that is. People are saying Kanye's playing Donald Trump, or that Trump's playing him, that there's a mutual benefit here. I don't think that they're messing around with each other. I think that genuinely they like each other. Kanye is saying that, frankly, the Democrats are keeping racism alive to scare black Americans into voting for them. You got to be worried. There's all this racism out there. Vote for us. We're the ones who protect you from racism. You know, if you quit making racism happen, it goes away a bit. There were times in this country where race relations were way better than they are right now because people didn't keep talking about racism. The late 90s, every white kid looked up to all the black athletes. There wasn't a whole lot of white kids going, "Oh man, it's too bad Michael Jordan's black. Damn it." Who are we going to look up to in the basketball? Larry Bird's been retired for a while. Dan Marley? That shit wasn't happening. There weren't kids walking around with like a Jeff Hornacek shirt going, "Well, at least we got a white guy." It wasn't going down. There's more racism being cooked up by talking about it and making people be concerned. When crimes happen to a black guy, it's not necessarily a race issue. Kanye was like, "Look, Democrats, I'm tired of the handouts. My people don't need it. What we need is opportunities and jobs in this country." And he talked about how he could even affect that. If he makes Yeezys in America, I don't think they have to charge more for them. They're already fairly expensive for what you're getting. I think it's quite doable. I don't see what the problem is here. You know, Kanye very well could put his money where his mouth is. And I don't think anyone can stop him. I mean, both Donald and Kanye, these are cats who do not listen to other people. Somebody says you can't do it, now they're going to go do it. So is this a bad thing? No. But the media would have you believe otherwise. You know, you got to look at the way that Twitter populates these stories in the headlines. Like in the headline, and in dealing with the aftermath, because for days it's just all America could talk about. It says, "Hip-hop legends call out Kanye West." And then these headlines, I can't tell if Twitter is putting them together on these moments. You see at the top when you open the app. I think Twitter puts that together, but then it'll credit the photo they use from somebody else who It's kind of like the lead tweet. And so it says this is from the Daily Beast. That's liberal propaganda. Now, if somebody went to go the other way around here, like, let's see, how would they do this? These are hip-hop legends because they agree with the stance of the media. If they did not agree, it would be washed-up rappers come to Kanye's defense. See the difference here? It's the adjectives, the adverbs, how you dress up things. I saw another headline today. It talked about googly eyes getting placed on a bronze statue. And it said, vandalized, in quotation marks. And it's like, why is that not vandalism? Was it his job, this passerby, to go put googly eyes on a statue? No, it wasn't. It wasn't some event or anything. This wasn't put on by the city. That's vandalism. Why is this a quotation mark thing? They're trying to make you feel bad, like, oh, well, it's just a prank. We'll let that go. Yeah, they want you to redraw the lines of what you think is acceptable behavior. It's a lot of bullshit. You got Kanye being blasted by CNN because they have to go and get their 2 cents in when they're reporting the news, and it's got to be on their side, right? They got all these black people talking about how Kanye's a Negro, which is the word they're subbing out for the other N-word. They're saying he's a Negro who can't read, and then they're like, oh, well, we can say that because Chris Rock said that in Old Routine. Is that how this works? If a stand-up comedian said anything ever, now you get to repeat it on the news? And aside from me, how many stand-up comedians are actually that smart? Like maybe Dennis Miller, Chris Rock at times. There's not, like, do we turn to comedians for all of our intel? Like, when the great minds assemble, it's like we got to make sure we have a few comedians in there. And we need some LBGTQRSTLV. We need some of that. We got to have some women. Not too many white guys. It doesn't matter if they're smart. We need a quota to stop the white guys from taking over this room. But we got some comedians in here, so it levels out. Is that how problems are approached now? And it's really messed up. You know, they dragging him through the mud when it's something that doesn't really affect him. And Kanye probably doesn't even feel like he speaks for all of Black America the way Beyonce and Jay-Z do. Kanye knows that he speaks for himself. He keeps going on about how he's a free thinker. Well, part of that is he represents Kanye. Beyonce and Jay-Z, they do shit all the time, grandstanding for black people. Hey, all black people, look how great we are over here. You looking? Okay, give us money, download Tidal. That's what they do. Have you guys figured this shit out yet? Honestly, they're not particularly talented. They throw their weight around, and then they try to empower you into making them richer. Yeah, that's all that is. It's songs about how great Beyonce is. You have to keep hearing about that. You have to deal with this your whole life. And eventually you get suckered into believing it. Kanye he's in a very odd spot right now. His shoes are going more mainstream. Now, those of you burning your Nikes because of Kaepernick, are you picking up Adidas? Did you go and pre-order them new, Yeezy 350s in the white? You know, I had them in my cart and I was kind of like, nah, not so much. But did him showing up in the MAGA hat, did that change your mind some? And he made a good point there, the Make America Great Again. Black people are having a problem with the again, saying, hey, this country wasn't that great to us to begin with. So Kanye's like, hey, why don't we just make America great? What's the argument against this? It's astonishing. Now you just go around and say, oh, well, we'll just get to say he's off his meds and he's crazy. That'll make us all feel better. Now, to split up the political talk here, I want to talk about something Nintendo did. They released a new version of The Legend of Zelda. You know, that game from 1986/1987. And it's more accessible. It's called the... oh, am I going to have to look this up? No, because I'm lazy. It's called something like The Legend of Zelda Living the Life of Luxury. I swear it's something like that. It's so, if not that exactly. I have a problem with this. Basically, what they did was they uploaded somebody's save state who gathered all the shit for you. And then you can, because they burned down the bushes and got the stairways already, bombed the rocks and picked up shit. You're starting out with like your rupees maxed out and all the items in the game. And it's like, here you go. The game's more accessible. What's the point of these games, even the old ones, if they're not going to be a challenge? Or if not a challenge, you know, an involving story, you don't talk to a lot of people. You don't get that engrossed in The Legend of Zelda outside of the activities you do to endear yourself to Link. My grandma and I were so psyched when we got the damn raft. We couldn't believe it. We played the game for years and could not advance anywhere. And then finally, we start making some actual progress. We got a raft. We got the step ladder. We found the way to the graveyard. All that shit. We opened up new areas. We beat the game. She ended up beating the game like 12 times. She just kept... It was like... Maybe even more than that. Just every time I saw her, she was beating this game. She was really into it. If all that stuff was available from the start, would she even care? Do games need to be more accessible, or do people need to get better at games? Was it that important for these gamers to play this game like this? Is it cheap of Nintendo to be selling a save state to people? Like, is this the new DLC here? Hey, we'll give you a save state for X money. This could be something around the corner, guys. Instead of actual new content, just pay to win a campaign, a solo campaign, you know? It's not pay to win PvP, but it's, hey, you want to just kind of skip to the end here? We used to have cheat codes. I don't think Zelda had cheat codes. But there used to be games where cheat codes existed. And you can make like your semicircle, hit the A-B buttons, all this shit. Now you got some 30 lives, you know, Konami code stuff. Level select, invincibility, infinite ammo, these kind of things. Is it going to come to a point where on the Nintendo Switch store you're going to end up with cheat code purchases? Because this stuff is tied down to their client, it's tied down to the Switch, Nintendo's eShop, all this stuff, preventing you from hacking so that they can sell you a save state. If this is a popular alternative, it will become the norm until you're sick of it. Oh man, DLC ruined games. Well, paid cheating, how did that help, right? I'm concerned about this, really. I want to talk about Melania Trump's statement about being bullied here. This is very unfortunate the way Twitter manipulated this headline again. Melania Trump talks in an interview about how she's one of the most bullied people. Twitter says Melania's one of the most bullied person. You know, making fun of her English, making fun of her grammar. She speaks, 6 languages, something like, it's a number of languages. But here's a way we can make a dig at Melania. And then let's just show the fallout. You know, when we get to make a dig at Melania, let's make sure that all of the top tweets associated with this moment are things against Melania. Telling her, oh, hey, gold-digging white girl, you've got it so rough. By saying she's bullied, and then you bully her, you're kind of proving her point. Jesus. Can people get more stupid and volatile? You know, people think I'm a jerk. Have you seen the people on Twitter? Are there nice people in this world? We have social network platforms that are encouraging people to be mean to each other. Facebook is letting your information leak like a sieve. And we're okay with that shit. Then you got Google running around over here saying, oh, guess what? We're going to shut down Google Plus. Not that anybody knew it was still up. Google shuts down a lot of shit. They shut down Wave. These things, they'll have a way of hyping it up and then just let you forget about it. Remember Google Glass, right? Wasn't that their eyewear that nobody bought and gave a shit about? And is so, 2013? Whatever happened to that? They just hope that you forget about their misses. They try not to make it a big deal. Just kind of creep that news out there. And that's the way they go about this. It's a really odd time that we're in, where as angry as I am and as pissed and as confrontational I get, I feel like other people are worse. Like, I'm not going around looking for a fight in person the way a lot of these purple-haired feminists are. So, if Melania Trump says she's bullied, is it now, okay, I guess it's our job to pile on the bullying. Let's make this statement true. Why is that the thing? Laura Bush had no issues. She was around at maybe the start. Facebook was definitely a thing while she was first lady. I think Twitter was off the ground some, not super crazy popular. I didn't hear about it until sometime on her way out, like shortly before the election where Obama got elected. The thing I'm saying here is these people in the past, they didn't have to deal with this stuff. Would they, though? If Laura Bush was president now, wouldn't she be bullied out of no reason at all? If she kept perfectly quiet, there'd be some way to make fun of her. Yeah, that's so stupid, guys. Like, let's not go after people to prove their point. Let's not do that, okay? Though there is somebody who is deserving of this. A Scary Time. There's a song out there, terrible song, by this Lindsay Lab Stewart, some singer-songwriter, dancer. I think it said she might have been a teacher. You know, most girls are teachers or nurses. Let's not kid ourselves. Well, she comes up with this song mocking Trump's "It's a Scary Time for Young Men" talk, which isn't wrong. But she's like, oh, it's scary for all these guys who are getting accused. What about the girls that are getting assaulted? So this is how she goes about it. And, you know, she's drumming along what she got there, like a ukulele. When you whip the ukulele out, nothing good can happen. Nobody's, oh boy, let's all sit around. That guy's got a ukulele. This is going to get good. No one thinks that. It's really like, hey, why drum anything? Why not just sing a cappella, solo? Is the strumming of this ukulele, is this supposed to detract, get us a little distracted from your lack of vocal talents? And she goes on about how it's scary for her to jog with headphones and shit, or leave her window open when she sleeps. All this weird stuff where, yeah, danger can happen at any time. It's a surprise thing. You don't leave yourself open for it. You got to be a defensive driver, right? Well, you need to be a defensive citizen. There's a lot of bad people out there. But she's not afraid of the terrorists. She's afraid of, like, every guy. Every guy could be a rapist. It's this feminist dream, guys. It's so jacked up the way they're doing this. I feel like the Democrats now have gotten so far up the ass of the feminists and the minorities, and it's almost gotten to the point where they're splitting the lines here. If you're a minority black guy and this white girl is talking about how it's a scary time for her, how does that make you feel? Are you now in bed with her viewpoint? Obviously, Jimmy Kimmel brings her up. Let's not get this shit song novelty gag up on the charts, please. Jimmy Kimmel gets her on TV. Everybody's sharing this shit on Instagram. Minority men. Are the Democrats looking out for you? Because when we see this stuff about how oppressed women are, doesn't it sound like they're the priority here? That the Democrats are like, look, screw guys. If we get the female vote, we can win any election. So alienate any guy you want, as long as we can assure ourselves we got the strong woman-female vote here. If you're an empowered woman, you have to vote for us. I think it's gotten to the point, fellas, looking at all of yous, even if you're dark and lights are off and I can barely see you, just smile a bit, all right? I'll find you in the dark. I'm saying it might soon become impossible for men to vote for Democrats. Like, is that not the whipped vote now? Oh, hey, honey, it's time to go to the polls. We got to vote. Yeah, I guess I'll just pick whatever you pick. That's going to be the case. Guys are getting whipped so hard by this Democrats' view of shit now. There's no middle ground. You can't elect anybody on just being, hey, that seems like a nice guy. That's a level-headed fella. It's extreme right, extreme left. And the most extreme left is, hey, we don't need men. Let's put out this news story about how mice got fiddled with by some scientists, and now 2 female mice can have kids without a male. Sort of. Let's bring up the stem cells and all this shit. And then we're going to end up with this debate about stem cells. And it's not going to be a stem cells, oh, hey, is this immoral against God's plan, kid stuff. It's going to be, well, a woman has a right to clone herself. I'm not even lying to you guys. That's the way this is going to go down. So I say this again. Men, are you cuckold enough to vote for Democrats? All right, that's going to do it for the Recently Canceled podcast, the free version anyways, episode 32. If you want to check out this juicy final topic, you got to unlock it by going to Patreon. Hit that up. Patreon.com/Von Fry. $1 a month gets you full access.